Our planet, it's been around for 4.5 billion years. I mean, that's a number so big it's hard to even wrap your head around it. But this story, this isn't about the past. It's about the future. It's about its final catastrophic moments. So yeah, let's dive into this countdown to the end of the world. So what does the end actually look like? Well, we're going to go on an epic journey, a trip through deep time with science as our guide. We're going to witness the chain of events, the series of apocalypses that will eventually literally erase our world. It's going to get weird, and it's going to get wild. All right, first up, the first threat on our countdown, and probably the one you're most familiar with, doesn't come from down here on Earth. No, it comes from the vast, dark emptiness of space. We are talking, of course, about a catastrophic asteroid impact. Just try to imagine this. A rock, 6 miles wide, hurling through space at 17 miles per second. That's not a typo. An object just like that is out there, right now, in the asteroid belt, carrying an absolutely unimaginable amount of energy. It's a stark reminder that we are essentially living in a cosmic firing range. You know, as NASA astronomer Don Brownlee says, this isn't some hypothetical sci-fi scenario. He says it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. I mean, just look at the moon. It's covered in scars from past hits. An impact big enough to wipe out the dinosaurs happens on average once every 100 million years. And well, the clock is always ticking. So when an impact like this happens, it kicks off this devastating chain reaction. First, bam, it instantly vaporizes everything for miles. Then, this massive global dust cloud shoots up and blocks out the sun, plunging the entire planet into a freezing, year-long winter. And if that wasn't bad enough, nitric oxide in that dust just shreds the ozone layer. So when the sun finally peeks through again, lethal UV radiation floods the surface. It's this 1-2 punch that could destroy 70% of all life, just like it did 65 million years ago. But, okay, let's say we get lucky. Let's say we dodge every single asteroid out there. We're still not in the clear. See, our own planet has these unstoppable cycles. There are these huge, inevitable forces already in motion that are going to totally reshape our world, starting with a deep, deep freeze. You might not realize it, but the Earth's orbit and its tilt, they aren't perfectly stable. They kind of wobble over these vast periods of time. It's called the Milankovitch cycle. And scientists, by studying deep-sea sediments, have confirmed that these predictable wobbles are exactly what triggers global ice ages. And guess what the cycle's telling us now? Yep, we are very slowly heading straight into another one. And here is where the sheer scale of time just gets mind-bending. So in about 30,000 years, massive ice sheets could be grinding our cities into dust. But you know what? That's just a tiny first step. Fast forward 250 million years, and the actual map of the world will be completely, totally unrecognizable. So what's the engine driving this incredible change? It's plate tectonics. The very ground we're standing on is moving, all the time. These massive plates are just relentlessly pushing the continents together, and they're destined to form a new supercontinent, kind of like the ancient landmass of Pangaea. And this new world, it's going to be brutal. On land, you'll have this vast, scorching hot desert in the middle, wiping out maybe 80% of species. And in the oceans, rampant volcanism will pump so much CO2 into the water that it becomes acidic, literally dissolving the shells of marine life. The entire food chain just collapses. Honestly, this single event could cause a mass extinction that would make the death of the dinosaurs look like a total sideshow. Even after all that, some life will probably endure. It's tough. But now we come to the final, unavoidable apocalypse. And it's driven by the one thing that gives us all life, our own sun. Because in about 1 billion years, it starts its slow but absolutely fatal expansion. So here's a weird paradox for you. As the sun gets hotter, you'd think that's great for plants, right? Nope. The extra heat actually supercharges geological processes that scrub CO2 right out of the air. And plants? Well, they need CO2 to breathe. The atmosphere is going to get so starved of it that 95% of all plant life will just suffocate. And with them goes the entire foundation of life on land. With the land turning into this vast, dead desert, there's only one sanctuary left for any complex life. The one place it all began, the oceans. For a while at least, they'll be more stable against that rising heat. It's the last refuge. But even the oceans won't last forever. As they begin to evaporate, the stage is set for life's final, most desperate stand. And the stars of this show are the hardiest, most unbelievable organisms you can possibly imagine. So, say hello to the extremophiles. As the oceans boil away, the water that's left becomes incredibly, incredibly salty. And the only things that can possibly survive are these tiny microbes called halophiles. They just love these toxic, super salty conditions. Fish, whales, coral, all a distant memory. This is all that's left of life on Earth. And here's where it gets really amazing. These microbes, they will actually change the color of our planet. See, to protect themselves from the brutal sun, they produce these red pigments. So for millions of years, if you looked at Earth from space, it wouldn't be a pale blue dot anymore. It would be a shimmering, salty pink world. As one scientist put it, a Barbie planet. But even their time runs out. By about 1.6 billion years from now, the surface temperature hits 224 degrees Fahrenheit. That's more than hot enough to boil water, and it's hot enough to kill the last living thing. That's it. Life on planet Earth is officially extinct. Life is gone, but the planet itself is still here. For the next 6 billion years, a dead, sterile rock will orbit a dying star. This is the final act. As the sun just continues to swell, the heat becomes, well, unimaginable. At 2,500 degrees, the mountains melt, the crust boils away, and all of Earth's features, its continents, its canyons, its entire history, are just erased, smoothed out into a featureless, glowing sphere of molten rock. And the sun just keeps growing. As a red giant, it's going to swell to be 256 times bigger than it is right now. If you could stand on the surface of our molten planet, that red giant would fill half the sky. Now, for a little while, scientists actually thought Earth might just escape this. The thinking was, as the sun expands, it loses mass, which weakens its gravity, and maybe Earth could drift safely away. But they'd missed something crucial. Earth's own gravity will create a tidal bulge on the sun's surface, and that acts like a brake, slowing our planet down and pulling it inward to its doom. There is no escape. And this is the end. The outer atmosphere of that red giant will finally reach us. Our planet, which survived for billions and billions of years, will burn up, vaporize, and be completely consumed. Every single trace of its existence will be gone, absorbed back into the very star that once gave it life. I know, it sounds like a pretty grim ending. But here's one final, incredible thought. Dust to dust, right? The atoms that once made up our world, our mountains, our oceans, you and me, they won't actually be destroyed. They'll be cast back out into space, and eventually, they'll come together to form new stars, new planets, and just maybe, new life. It's a cosmic cycle of death and rebirth.